So you just got the news. Maybe it's that massive raise you've been working your tail off for. Or maybe, you finally met someone who actually treats you right. You are just vibrating with excitement. You're glowing. And you tell the person you trust the most, right? Your best friend, your sibling, maybe even your partner. And just for a split second, you see it. That tiny little flinch. That smile that doesn't quite reach their eyes. And all of a sudden, they're not celebrating with you. Instead, they're asking if you're sure you can handle the extra stress of that new job. Or they're pointing out some tiny, totally irrelevant flaw in your new partner. The air just gets sucked out of the room. And suddenly, you feel almost guilty for being happy. Okay, stop right there. You are not imagining things. You're being watched by a hidden enemy. And the worst part? The most dangerous person isn't the one who openly hates you. Oh no, it's the one who claims to protect you while they are quietly, absolutely rotting with resentment. So, we are going to break down these 7 signs that someone is secretly jealous of you. And I really need you to listen closely to sign number 4. It is easily the most toxic sign on this list, but so many people mistake it for true love. All right, let's start with the hidden enemy. Okay, sign number 1. They vanish when you win. A jealous person has this very specific disappearing act they pull whenever things are going really well for you. I mean, think about it. When you're struggling with a problem, they are right there, shoulder to cry on, all in. But the moment you post that big professional milestone or you announce a huge win, crickets, silence. Therapist Afton Turner actually notes that when you experience something positive, a jealous friend might suddenly disengage or even ice you out of the group. See, psychologically, your success is a direct threat to how they see themselves. When you move up, they feel like they're moving down. Your joy literally triggers this intense feeling of being not good enough in them. So they just become scarce because looking at your happiness, it actually hurts them. They're not busy. They're protecting their own fragile ego from the pain of watching you thrive. So have you ever noticed that? Someone suddenly stops replying to your texts the second your life started looking up? Now let's get into the more subtle forms of sabotage. Sign number 2, they find the but in every single beauty. This is the classic realist mask. They won't ever tell you they're jealous. Oh no, they'll just tell you they're being honest. You get a new car, and they'll be the first to remind you how expensive the insurance is going to be. You get a promotion, and they'll start talking about how that company has a bad reputation for burning people out. It's just like psychologist Dr. Patrice Legoy explains it. These people are actively hunting for something negative because they just cannot focus on the positive things that are happening for you. See, by finding a flaw in your success, they get to minimize that gap between your life and theirs. If they can make your achievement seem, not that great, then they don't have to feel so inferior. They are literally looking for something negative to say just to bring the emotional temperature in the room down to their level. Does it ever feel like you have to defend your happiness every single time you share it with them? All right, sign number 3. They build a wall around you. And this isn't just about them wanting more of your time. It's a really subtle form of social isolation. According to Dr. Patrice Legoy, a jealous person can become super overbearing, and they'll try to isolate you from everybody else by finding fault with your other friends, discouraging you from hanging out with them. They start planting these little seeds of doubt about your entire support system. They'll say things like, "Are you sure that person's a good influence?" Or, "I just don't think your family really understands you, like I do." It sounds like they're on your side, doesn't it? But what they're actually doing is voicing discomfort because they see your other relationships as a threat. They want to be your only source of truth. Because if they're the only person you listen to, well, then they can keep you small, keep you dependent, without any outside voices telling you how much you've actually outgrown them. So is there someone in your life who subtly makes you feel like every other person you love is somehow failing you? Listen, if these signs are hitting home, it's because your gut has been trying to tell you this for a long, long time. You're here because you're smart enough to look for the patterns. Now, if this is opening your eyes, please take a second to like and subscribe. It really helps more people who need this information find it. This knowledge is your most powerful tool, but recognizing the behavior, that's only half the battle. If you want to know how to actually protect your energy without becoming the villain in their story, you need to stay until the very end. I'm going to reveal the one realization that changes everything. But first, we have to talk about the protector. This brings us to sign number 4. They want you all to themselves. And at first, this feels like the ultimate compliment. They tell you they just can't get enough of you, or that they've never felt this close to anyone before. You mistake it for this intense, rare adoration. But research published in the International Journal of Scientific Research has a name for this. It's called emotional dependency. They aren't obsessed with you because you're so amazing. They're obsessed because they're terrified of losing the security that you provide for their own fragile ego. It feels like love, but what it really is a cage. A cage built out of their own insecurity. And over time, this need to be close starts to feel claustrophobic. They might start acting like they need you to check in constantly, or they need you to skip events because they're having a bad day. It looks like they're being vulnerable, but really, they're using your empathy to control your movements. So ask yourself, does their version of love feel more like an anchor that's keeping you from swimming? Okay, now for the conditional support tactics. Sign number 5. They only love you when you're losing. Seriously, watch how they react when you are at your absolute lowest. If they suddenly become the best friend ever when you're struggling, but then get cold and distant when you're thriving, pay very close attention. Dr. Patrice Legoy points out that these communication patterns are often all over the place. They make themselves scarce when you do well, but they want to be around you constantly when you're struggling. Why? Because they feel secure and powerful when you are beneath them. Your pain actually makes them feel better about their own life. It removes the threat of social comparison. And the second you start to heal and succeed again, they will pull away or they'll pick a fight because they can no longer play that role of this superior supporter. So think back. Who was your biggest supporter during your worst year, but is absolutely nowhere to be found now that you're winning? And this leads us to sign number 6. They tear you down to keep you close. This is a tactic that researchers like Stephen Arnocki actually call cost-inflicting mate retention. In simple terms, they intentionally lower your self-esteem so you don't feel good enough to leave them or to go seek out better opportunities. They'll use subtle digs, insults disguised as jokes, or emotional manipulation to make you feel way less capable than you actually are. See, if they can make you believe that you are lucky to have them, you'll never realize that they are the ones holding you back. They are protecting their position by making sure you never realize yours. So, do you find yourself feeling smaller and less capable after spending time with this person? And that brings us to our final sign number 7. They whisper behind your back. Because if they can't reach your level, they will try to drag your level down to theirs. And there's research to back this up. A study published in the journal Communications found that malicious envy is a huge driver of negative gossip on social platforms like Instagram. They might spread rumors or highlight your mistakes to other people or accidentally share your private struggles. And by damaging your reputation, they get this temporary little boost in their own social status. They just want to make sure other people don't see you as perfect or superior. It is a coward's way of competing. So have you ever found out that someone you trusted was sharing your business with people who had absolutely no right to know? So here it is, the final truth, the thing that most people are too afraid to say out loud. Their jealousy is not your responsibility. It is a reflection of their own internal struggle with feeling inadequate and just not enough. You cannot dim your light enough to make them feel comfortable. The more you try to soothe their jealousy by playing small, the more power you give them to control your life. You have to realize this. Some people will only love the version of you that is struggling. The version of you that is winning makes them face the parts of themselves they've refused to fix. And if you've identified these signs, look, compassionate dialogues might work for a normal friend, but for someone trapped in toxic jealousy, your only real move is to set ironclad boundaries. Stop feeding them your secrets, stop feeding them your wins, and stop feeding them your vulnerability. You deserve to be celebrated, not managed. Stay sharp, because your growth is the only closure you will ever need. If this helped you, please subscribe and join our community. And drop a comment with the number of the sign that hit you the hardest today. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to read to finally recognize what's happening in their own life.